I wouldn't have this life, this wife, this child, all the things good that happened in my life, if not for him. And I don't know, how do you ever repay that? It was late January 2008. I was going out for a 6-mile run with my dog, my golden lab, Luli. The first thing I noticed was the C&O canal was frozen over in most parts. I went and stretched near this headstone. Well, it's not a headstone, but it looks like it is. It's a directional marker to Washington. I think I remember throwing a stick down near the water just so my dog could maybe get a drink from the shore. And I turned around and I looked at her and she's just standing out there. And I just go, Luli, get back here. And all of a sudden, literally a second later, like boosh, she just went right into the frozen water. I was just yelling for her to get back, like, come on, let's go, come on. And every time she would try to get on a piece of ice, it would break a little and she couldn't get her legs on it. And I lowered myself down onto the ice myself and began distributing my weight. And it wasn't until I got about, I don't know, 5-10 yards from her that I realized that I'm 200+ pounds and my dog's only 65. And if she went through, I'm gonna, and I went through. I couldn't stand. I literally could not stand. And I started not to feel my lower extremities, which were all underwater. I was trying to put my elbows up on the ice just to get a rest. And I'm starting to panic a little. And Luli's been in there a couple more minutes than I have, and you could tell she's not doing well at all. And finally I realized the only thing I could do is to get her out was all my strength. I put my right arm under her abdomen like a big fishing hook and just jerked her as hard as I could. And finally she landed on this piece of solid ice and got up the bank, shook herself, looked at me, and just took off running. And I looked at the dog, and my genuine thought was, I don't know how she's getting home tonight. And to me, that was a way of just kind of camouflaging the fact that I wasn't going to get home tonight. And so I started screaming, somebody, please, anybody, help, at the top of my lungs.
I noticed a couple holes in the ice of the canal, and I saw a dog scamper up the side, and I heard Mike shouting for help.
This sort of shadowy figure came out of the dark. He said, what are you doing?
And he said that he had fallen in trying to help his dog. I walked down the side of the canal and reached out to him, but couldn't touch him. And after that, I fell through, and I was in about up to my chest. You know, I kept reaching for his hand, and he kept moving in closer. And finally, literally, I took a lunge, and I felt the bottom. And it was the first time when I realized, oh, I'm not going to die. And I just remember you pulled me out, and I was in shock. And so I made sure he was okay.
I was like almost like this, and I'm freezing, and you're going back, and I ask you, I go, hey, what's your name? And I can't remember what you just said, Jason, right?
Yeah.
He goes, Jason Coates, and I go, where do you work? And he goes, I'm a law school student at GW. I'm like, all right. Once he was gone, and it was just me and my dog, yeah, I had a moment where I just, I realized that I was going to die, that he'd saved my life.
I think he first emailed my school account, which I wasn't using, and then eventually it got to my normal email account. The first time we met in person was while doing an interview for a couple local TV stations.
I think the moment didn't feel as authentic as it would have without cameras.
Well, we even met, say, a few times since then.
I brought him in on my radio show.
He helped me also find a couple internships.
He came to my wedding.
When my wife and I first started dating, she mentioned that she read about me in the Washington Post.
He came to my son's first first birthday party, and I met his girlfriend at the time, who became his wife. And when they called me up, he and Alexandra, and asked me to officiate the wedding, my first thought was, how do I do this?
And I called him again to talk about it a bit more, and he answered the phone as the Reverend Mike Wise.
Halfway through the thing, I looked out at my son, who was sitting on my wife's lap. You know, he's so fixated on superheroes and stuff, and it's sort of like, this is the guy who did it. I have no idea if he realizes that this is the guy who saved Dad's life, but he calls him Jason Coates the hero. How awesome is that?